I mean, it's an appropriate song. Obviously, I did not make that song. So, Forbes by G-Eazy. You're welcome. Anyway, welcome back. I'm Elizabeth Struess. We're talking about Tenacious Planners. This is actually the monthly planner, but it still has what I need for a yearly planner, just in case you're like, wait, why does it look different? That would be why. So I'm just going to boop my little money into my money, boop my buttons to get to our money portion. Let's see if I like this one better. That's prettier. That's what I've got. All right, so before we start filling things out, I want to give you a little bit of story time. First off, let's talk about the fact that I don't look like I got money, and that's okay. I don't actually have money either. Also, okay. But I have learned a lot about having money. So we're going to talk about having money from a perspective that doesn't have to do with the guy that also rhymes with AMZ. I think he does great things for a lot of people, so no shade in that way, but I also think that there are some systems in place that he does not acknowledge or give access to. So we're going to ignore those. I was talking to a teammate, and when she looked at this page, she was like, so what do I do with this? And I was like, well, you track where you are. And I saw the just panic that happened. So here's what I'm going to say. If you've never had a budget before, if you don't have any idea what your budget is, you don't know where you're going, and the idea of money just kind of makes you butt pucker a little bit, ignore everything else this video is going to say, come back to it later. Do this one thing. Just simply start tracking how much you're spending on things. So most banking apps have a budget tool within it that you can go into your account and assign where things go. So if you're getting gas, that can go into transport. If you are paying a cell phone bill, that can go into utilities. You know where I'm going with this? So if you haven't even done that and you don't know what that looks like, what I would say is month 1, make that your goal. Month 2, come back and start tracking down and ignore what the goal part is or accomplished is and just start there. I think so often we try to do things right and we get so fucked up on doing it right that all of our little voices say, see, you didn't get this. See, you're not smart enough. See, you can't do this. And especially when it comes to money, listen, I get it. Money is a tool, and I'm learning this the hard way. But when you haven't had enough money to put a diaper on your baby's ass, and you don't know when your electric bill is going to be shut off, and you don't know how much food you have to get through the next few days, money feels like everything. Point blank. And listen, if you want to know how broke I grew up, I'm going to tell you, I grew up more broke than you did, and I don't even have to know who you are. For those of you that know about government cheese, you're going to know what side of the street I'm talking about. So all of that to be said, the things that I have learned have had to do with overcoming my stories of doubt of math, stories of doubt of understanding numbers, and stories about how wealth can elude me because I couldn't possibly understand. If I can overcome that, you can write down some numbers and just start learning where you're spending. And keyword I said was learning, not using this to beat yourself with, okay? That is where I think we get so far to the other side. Within 6 months of really starting to track down and tackle things, I've been able to start putting things into a snowball debt attack. And I've actually been able to pay off 2 accounts already within 6 months. So there are ways to do things, but it takes one small bite at a time. And if there's nothing you hear in all these videos, I hope that's the one thing I have you hear. It's just like bite size it. So what you're actually going to do on this page first is you're going to talk about how will your life be better if you make your new budget happen. Remember, if you've never done a budget before and you are just tracking, how will your life be better? Maybe you know where your finances are going. Something that was surprising to me, my wife and I like coffee. And I asked her, I was like, hey, how much are we spending on this? And she was like, don't take my coffee. And I was like, I actually don't want to take your coffee. I'm just purely curious. Like, how much do we spend? And you see all of the articles that talk about, like, well, if you don't spend coffee, you can do this and that. Listen, our coffee habits are not going to pay off our car any faster. Excuse me. I don't know what I ate today, but man. So what I found by getting curious instead of judgmental is that there's a lot of things that we think are true because of a world that doesn't get us. And you have to figure this out for yourself. Like, what makes sense to you? How will your life be better? Just write it down. Maybe you'll take photos of something and you'll drop it in. Maybe you'll draw something and drop it in. Maybe you'll just create a bullet point list. And I'll have sanity. Listen, for me in the beginning, it was cry less. And I'll be really, this makes me twitchy to even talk about it. I'll be really honest. My biggest thing is I don't want to be seen as stupid. I don't like to feel inferior. It is really hard for me. And so just feeling smart. It doesn't even mean I have to be good at something. It is not what it means for me. So just writing those things down. It's amazing what giving yourself this kind of soul fuel can do when you're having to jump in and look at this. And it's not fun. I've racked up more medical debt than anybody wants to know. I've had a car repoed. I've had my bills turned off multiple times. Like, I hope I've painted a picture of, like, I get it without making you sit here for 20 years and hear the things. So the way this page is meant to be used, you're going to start paying attention and you're just going to fill in on this side at the beginning of the month what your goal budget is. So in the beginning of the year, you set out, like, where are you going? Oh, sorry, we're in the yearly planner. We're going to set out where are we going and what do we accomplish. So it may be that, like, I want my rent and my house payment to be the same. That's fine. Maybe I want my transport to be 3% less. Okay. Utilities, believe it or not, you can actually call utility companies and ask for different things from them. One of the things I've done is I've called Ameren and said, hey, can you walk through my building and tell me where the leaks are and what the things are that we can do? Keep an eye on it. You'd be amazed. And there are humans running it. They're going to screw up. They're going to charge you incorrectly. Watch those things. So I might put a 0 here. Listen, the number one place I spend money, I like food and I like whatever kind of food and I like expensive ass butter. So if I could decrease that by 2% by the end of the year, look, if I just did these two things alone, I would have 5% at the end of the year to do something with, to start working within my planning. Cool? So just give yourself some time, fill this in, and see what you learn about yourself. The numbers game is about learning, not judging. All right. If you made it this far, I would love to know down below what was the most impactful thing for you and what are you going to jump in and tackle for yourself and how will it make you better?